English podcast show. Learn English smartly.
Welcome back to English Podcast Show, where we dive deep into the stories and science behind everyday emotions.
And today, we're exploring one of the most powerful and surprisingly misunderstood feelings we all experience: pride.
You might think pride is just about celebrating your biggest wins, but it's so much more than that. From brain chemistry to community impact, this emotion shapes how we grow, how we connect, and how we overcome challenges.
We'll be unpacking the psychology, sharing real-life stories, and revealing how pride could be one of the most essential tools for personal growth and even social change.
So stick around, because this episode might just change how you think about your own proudest moments and how you share them. Pride. It's one of humanity's most powerful emotions, but research shows that 68% of people struggle to identify their proudest moments when asked directly. Today, we're exploring why that disconnect exists and what it reveals about human achievement.
That's such a fascinating statistic, and it really makes you wonder about how we process and value our own accomplishments.
You know what's interesting? I recently spoke with a behavioral psychologist who explained that pride actually activates the same reward centers in our brain as receiving monetary rewards. It's literally hardwired into our motivation system.
Well, that certainly explains why proud moments can feel so intensely satisfying. Do you have any specific examples of how this plays out in real life?
Actually, yes. There's this remarkable case study about a community organizer who transformed her neighborhood. When she noticed local kids couldn't afford school supplies, she didn't just feel bad about it. Her brain's reward system motivated her to take action.
Tell me more about how she turned that initial impulse into actual results.
So she started small. Just a bake sale idea. But here's where it gets interesting. Studies show that community initiatives have a 40% higher success rate when they incorporate multiple engagement points. She instinctively did exactly that by adding music, events, and games.
That's fascinating how she naturally aligned with best practices. What was the ultimate impact?
The numbers were impressive. They raised enough for supplies for 200 students. But here's the kicker. Follow-up surveys showed that 85% of the kids who received help improved their academic performance within 6 months.
You know what this reminds me of? That research about how acts of service actually create stronger feelings of pride than personal achievements.
Exactly right. And it ties into another story I heard recently about someone overcoming severe driving anxiety. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Studies show that conquering a specific fear can increase overall confidence by up to 40% in other areas of life.
That's such an interesting ripple effect. How did they actually overcome such an intense fear?
Well, they used this research-backed approach of systematic desensitization. Started with just sitting in a parked car for 5 minutes, gradually building up to actual driving. The success rate for this method is around 75% when combined with consistent practice.
And I imagine the pride from overcoming that fear must have been incredibly powerful.
Studies actually show that overcoming a phobia creates one of the most intense pride responses measurable. It's about 3 times stronger than pride from typical achievements.
That really puts into perspective why these moments become such defining parts of our personal narratives.
And here's something else fascinating. Research indicates that sharing proud moments increases their psychological benefit by roughly 60%. It's like the brain reinforces the positive impact each time we tell the story.
Well, that explains why these experiences often become such powerful motivators for future challenges.
Exactly. And neuroscience backs this up. When we recall proud moments, our brains release a cocktail of dopamine and serotonin that's remarkably similar to what athletes experience in their peak performance states.
So in a way, pride isn't just an emotion. It's actually a biological tool for personal growth.
Recent studies support that completely. They've found that people who regularly reflect on their proud moments are 45% more likely to take on new challenges and 30% more resilient when facing setbacks.
That really changes how we should think about pride, not as just a reaction, but as a crucial part of human development.
And what's particularly interesting is how pride creates these ripple effects in communities. Research shows that when one person shares a proud achievement, it increases goal-setting behavior in their social network by up to 25%.
That's remarkable. Pride literally becomes contagious in the best possible way.
Looking at all this evidence, it's clear that pride isn't just about feeling good. It's a fundamental driver of human progress and community building. The research really validates what we've seen in these personal stories.
Thank you for exploring this fascinating topic. It's really changed my perspective on the role of pride in personal and social development.
And thank you for these insights. The science is clear. Understanding and embracing our proud moments isn't just self-congratulation. It's an essential part of human growth and community connection.
All right, time for a quick vocab boost.
And for that, let's bring in our language expert, Maria.
She's here to break down some key words and phrases from today's episode to help you level up your English.
Thanks, guys. Today's words are ripple effect, hardwired, and put into perspective. Let's unpack what they mean and how to use them like a native speaker. Proudest moments. Definition: times in life when someone felt most proud or accomplished. Example: one of my proudest moments was graduating at the top of my class. Makes you wonder? Definition: causes you to think or reflect more deeply. Example: it makes you wonder how many people hide their real emotions. Feel bad about it. Definition: to feel sympathy or guilt about something. Example: she felt bad about missing her friend's birthday party. Here's the kicker. Definition: used before revealing a surprising or important part. Example: he lost his job, and here's the kicker. He found a better one the next day. Ripple effect. Definition: when one action causes consequences that spread outward, like ripples in water. Example: helping one student can have a ripple effect throughout the school. Put into perspective. Definition: helps understand the true scale or importance of something. Example: traveling to developing countries really puts our everyday problems into perspective. Disconnect. Definition: a lack of connection or understanding between two things. Example: there's a clear disconnect between government policies and public needs. Accomplishments. Definition: achievements or completed goals. Example: publishing a novel was one of her greatest accomplishments. Hardwired. Definition: biologically or psychologically ingrained. Instinctive. Example: humans are hardwired to seek connection with others. Resilient. Definition: able to recover quickly from difficulties. Example: children are often more resilient than adults during times of change. Contagious. Definition: easily spread, often used metaphorically for emotions or behavior. Example: her enthusiasm was contagious and motivated the whole team. Systematic desensitization. Definition: a psychological method of reducing fear through gradual exposure. Example: the therapist used systematic desensitization to help him overcome his fear of flying. That's all for today's vocabulary. Stay tuned for more words in the next episode. Keep practicing these words in your daily conversations